am your co-host, Coach Mack, the founding health coach of Running with Bacon, where I help women become their strongest and fittest selves one small step at a time. And just like always, I'm joined by our co-host, Renata.
Hello, everyone. I'm Renata from Nourish with Renata, your intuitive nutrition coach, and I'm here to empower women to nourish their bodies, minds, and spirits.
And we're so glad you do. And this question is right up your alley. So I'm going to ask it, and then I'm going to give my answer because it's super brief. But I also want to note that Renata, this is kind of what she does. I don't know if you see in the corner behind her, she has the cookbook. So this question is for her. It is, how do you dress up veggies so you actually want to incorporate more of them into your days? And like I said, my answer is really short and sweet. My trick is to add bacon. And I say that sort of jokingly, but also not jokingly. I found that a lot of vegetables, you can add bacon, whether it's like bacon wrapped carrots or sprinkle some bacon bits on some Brussels sprouts, things like that. Bacon's my friend. So that's how I get myself to eat more vegetables. But I know that you will have way more practical tips and tricks for us. So Renata, what have you got for us?
Well, I love the bacon idea. As someone who doesn't eat bacon, I need to do some other things. Yeah, I know. Breaking news, guys.
How did I not know this?
Yeah, so I have turkey bacon. I do not have regular bacon. Yeah.
I'll count it.
Okay. That was close, guys.
So scary.
My tips for you are twofold. So number one is to add flavor, which is exactly what Max said in terms of the bacon. It doesn't have to be bacon though. It could also be spices and it could be sauces. So spices can be fresh. So it could be something that you have, that you've grown or someone's given to you, or it could be dried. These are fantastic things to add into any kind of vegetables. And honestly, you're probably using them in most dishes anyway. You're just not applying it necessarily to a vegetable side dish. In addition to that, there are herbs. So I love growing herbs. I'm not that great about it, but I'm sure Mac has an amazing green thumb for herbs. Other people are great at growing herbs too. And once again, they can be fresh, they can be dried. So fresh herbs and fresh spices tend to give a stronger flavor, whereas the dried ones tend to give a little bit less flavor and you usually use less of it. So experiment with those kinds of things. Some of my favorites are actually Mexican style flavors. So we're talking about things like oregano, garlic. You can also add so many different kinds of chili peppers. Chipotle is one of my favorites, jalapenos, habaneros. I mean, there's so many, especially if you love spice. And then my second favorite is Asian cooking. There's so many great spices used in Asian cooking. Ginger, garlic, soy, these are all fantastic to add a little bit extra salt and savory flavor. In addition to, if you go to like places like India, we're using different curry powders. We're using turmeric. We're using, galangal, which is a type of ginger. There's so many amazing spices as well as herbs that you can incorporate into vegetable dishes. And so try those out. There's a ton of recipes on my website as well as in the cookbook. And I love making vegetables something that you want to eat. So this is definitely in my wheelhouse. The second thing that I think would be a fantastic tip for you if you really want to dress up your veggies is change your cooking method. Now, normally when people take vegetables, they're thinking about things like salads, which are generally uncooked, right? Like, I'm just going to have a boring plain salad and then like some random dressing that is in the back of my fridge that I haven't used in a year. So instead of that, let's think about how can I cook these veggies in different ways? I mean, there's so many things you can do. You could grill them outside. You could even use a smoker. You could roast them in the oven, you could broil them, you could pan saute them. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with vegetables that help to develop the flavors or add a little bit of that caramelization to the edges so that you get a little bit of sweetness, which really keeps the tongue looking for another bite and another bite. So those are two of my main tips when it comes to dressing up veggies. And honestly, if you try any of the recipes, so many people have said that this cookbook has, for instance, helped their husband like vegetables, helped their kids try new vegetables. These are fantastic recipes that you can start to integrate into your week. Try them out, try the different spices, flavors, and cooking methods and see what you like.
I love those ideas. I also want to expand on two things that you said, because I think by changing up the cooking method, I think is super important, because I realized that for me, it's usually about texture. A lot of times, if you don't know how to cook vegetables, they end up just kind of mushy and boring and bland. But if you try those different methods, like you were saying, like grilling or broiling them is one of my favorites, because then you get like those crispy bits you were talking about. So I think that is huge as a textural element, because I can't just eat some like mushy stuff. It's gross. And then also you mentioned that caramelization being a little bit of sweetness. I like to help that by either using a little bit of honey or maple syrup, even depending on what the vegetable is. So you can use things like that and just, give them a little drizzle. But maple syrup goes very well with bacon too. So that's,
Yes, I'm noticing a theme here. Yeah.
But no, I think those are awesome tips. So really appreciate you sharing those. And if you haven't gotten the idea yet, go get Renata's cookbook. I'm going to link it below in the description. Yeah, it's amazing. I have it. I give it out to so many of my clients. It's awesome. So get you a copy, and then make sure when you make it to tag her, so you let her know how delicious it is, and she'll change your life on vegetables. So thanks for that answer, Renata. And thank you guys for the questions. We will keep them coming in the next episode.